Hi there guys, welcome to Dino's Vault and welcome to my first ride review of the Yamaha R15S. Now this was a surprise launch that no one saw coming. Now this is more or less the same R15 V3 with the unibody seat. Now that's what everyone commented, and we were hoping that there should be any minor changes to make it a little more user friendly and the ergonomics a little more city use friendly or touring friendly. So have Yamaha made any minor tweaks to that to make it a little more less aggressive than what it used to be prior? So let's find out in this review. Let's turn around, let's not waste any more time because Dino Bhai always does unscripted, to the point, no nonsense reviews. So here we have the R15S. Now they say it's coming only in this blue color, so you don't have much of color options. I also have my R15M standing right next to it, such that we can do some comparisons. So let me just first even things out. I also have these aftermarket lever guards installed. This is a gift from my biker brother Vicky, who runs some a small initiative startup called Machine Mods. And where are the jet fighters? Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay. So usually this is the time they have this flying drill, and this is the time we shoot. No disturbance whatsoever. One of the best locations that I prefer shooting. So let's get back to the point. What do we get with the R15S? Now the first generation R15S was quite a hit. Many people took to it because it had more comfort, again a unibody seat, and people kind of understood the versatility it had on offer. Now does this unibody seat make a difference? First of all, the cushioning on this is almost double to what we find on that or the R15 V3. So this is the best foam and best cushioning that you will find in the R15 series in terms of comfort. Nothing can come close. I mean, really comfortable, and the seat goes all the way up, so you get a little bit of lower lumbar support right here for the rider and lot of space to move around. Again, pillion seat is still supermodel like, not much of a space, but again the unibody seat gives you the flexibility of having a little more room instead of the split seat layout that we see on the R15M. In fact, I would go ahead and say this seat is better in terms of comfort than my R15M, which is more premium offering. It has the textured pattern, looks better, but in terms of functionality and in terms of comfort, this one is better. Now another important thing that I was hoping for is they would slightly raise the handlebar to make it a little less aggressive and more user friendly, but that has not happened. This is the same setting that we find on the R15 V3, so that is kind of a downer, or it kind of loses out on the purpose for which this thing has been launched. This is supposed to be more comfortable. This is supposed to be more city focused, more family oriented kind of an R15, but what happens here is, though the seat does make amends and does offer that extra bit of comfort, it's the clip-ons that still remain quite aggressive. The jet fighter sound is so overwhelming. It's right over there. So let's hope it dies down quickly and we can continue with this. Again, the stickering and all, you have the R15S logo right here, variable valve actuation. You have the same tried and tested LC4V power plant. We have 155cc liquid cooled fuel injected 4-valve engine with variable valve actuation. So post 7400 rpm it goes wild actually, and it has consistent power and torque delivery. So what is the difference between this in terms of engine tuning? Well, yes, it is there. This is 18.6 PS of max power, that is 18.4 PS of max power. This is 14.1 Newton meters of torque, that delivers 14.2 Newton meters of torque. So in terms of outright power delivery, this one has a little more power, but slightly lesser torque. That has a little less power but slightly more torque. But what I found is the air channeling and the wind aerodynamics are better sorted on the R15M, and that allows you to hit better top speeds and get reduce drag by a significant amount when compared to the V3, and achieve greater top speeds and faster lap times. Now another thing that I like is, of course, I also was wondering whether there'd be any weight savings. The weight remains more or less the same. Both are around 142 kgs, I believe, and also the wheelbase remains the same. Now when you ride the R15M, you get a feeling that it has a longer wheelbase, or it offers more planted feel while doing straight line runs, but this feels a little closer to the body, and you feel the wheelbase might be shorter. But when you look at the spec sheet, both are the same. So this one is a little more aggressive and more compact feel to it, but that one is more relaxed and more laid back kind of a feel in terms of pushing it to its limits. Again, the KYB USD forks, 37mm forks right there. These are 41mm telescopic forks, and those are USD forks, and that of course offers better front end feel. This one is no less. This is good enough, and in fact it's good enough for Indian conditions, because telescopic forks are far easier to maintain when compared to USD forks when compared to when given our Indian conditions or road conditions. Then of course the tires remain the same. You have the same 140 section radial rear tire, offers good water channeling capabilities, good superior grip on wet surfaces, and then you also have better you can try sharper lean angles on this, and better traction when compared to the conventional tires. But both of the bikes come equipped with a radial rear tire and 140 section rear tire. Then of course you have the safety of engine cutoff feature for the side stand, so that again comes on as an added safety feature. A lot of people forget to remove the side stand, and that might result in a catastrophic accident, which is the last thing you want to happen. Then the tank capacity, the speedo console, of course that gets a new speedo console. This one gets the same old V3 kind of a console, and it has all the relevant info that we've seen on the V3. So nothing much changes. You have the shift light that looks pretty classy, and then you have the high beam flasher right here, the engine kill switch, and the starter button is two separate units right here, whereas in that everything is integrated. You can see here that the starter button is integrated into the kill switch. You also have a hazard light switch right here for the R15M, which we don't get on the V3, and you also have these extra garnishes to make it visually more pleasing. You have the R15M badging right here. Slipper clutch is standard on both the bikes. Both the bikes come equipped with assistant slipper clutch, which means you can do faster downshifts without running the risk of the rear wheel locking and hopping. And also the clutch feel is lighter. And in terms of ride feel, now let me give you that most important thing. Of course I'll be sharing my moto vlog as well, so that I'll talk about the ride feel. But this feels, I'm doing this walk around after I've done the ride. Oh goodness gracious. Sound is really overwhelming of these jet fighters. So coming back to the ride feel of the R15M and the R15S. Now R15M doesn't have that initial kind of punch that the R15 V3 had, and this one gets the same engine tuning as the R15 V3. So the R15S enjoys that extra bit of initial pickup, good bottom end torque, or good bottom end punch, you can say, right off the mark. That takes a little time to wake up, but the top end is much better, and you can pull further and further away on the R15 V4 as well as the R15M. So that is what I felt while riding both of these bikes, because that is something that I own and ride on a day-to-day basis. This is here for the testing. Special thanks to Pearl Yamaha for allowing me to feature this bike for you. Price difference. Again, this is around 1,56,000 ex-showroom Delhi, that is close to 1,80,000 ex-showroom, and so the price difference is close to 25,000 rupees, which is a huge margin. And for that 25,000 you get, I mean, of course you get the premium of the V4, premium feel of the V4, you have the bifunctional LED, you have the R7 kind of looks, a new generation, better sorted aerodynamics. Now would I recommend this or that? Now if you're going to use it within the city and you want that initial punch, and you don't mind letting go of that visual updates that the V4 got. Of course the V4 looks stunning in almost every color, like be it the red color, the blue, the black also looks awesome, and my R15M silver looks the best in my opinion. That's my personal favorite. But this one, the V3, had unique styling, almost reminiscent to the inspired by the R6 and the R1. So I kind of like this one as well. So it's all boils down to where your usage is probably going to be. If you're going to use your bike predominantly on the highways, the V4 and the R15M offers better high speed stability and more assurance. Not that this doesn't. This one also offers rock solid stability, but that one does it better with more ease and more confidence. This one, it is more feels more compact, though everything dimensions, everything remain the same. It feels more compact and more peppy, ready to cut through the traffic more easily. So this one is for city use, is what I feel. But that's pretty much it, and everything else remains the same. The disc size also, you have the same 282 mm disc on both these bikes, the V4 as well as the R15S, and you get dual channel ABS. Again, they have not compromised anywhere, just for the sake of cost cutting. The dual disc setup is there, and dual channel ABS is also there. And then of course you also have the monocross, the monoshock suspension at the back to offer superb handling and agility. Again, even the aluminum swing arm is retained as it is on the R15S. So overall, I really love the way that Yamaha is coming to terms with the Indian audience. They have understood that Indian audience won't take compromise for an answer. Like, they got to know that when they launched the MT15, though MT15 is starting to being received well over a period of time, and it's a fun bike to ride, but they understood that Indian biker is maturing and wants all the goodies, all the features, all the specs, all the right kind of stuff for his and he or she demands the best for their hard-earned buck that they are shelling out to buy their mean machines and their next ride. So 6-speed gearbox, again everything else remains more or less the same. So now that I've given you a quick overview of both these machines, and visually this is absolutely identical to the V3 except for the unibody seat, and that one of course has a refreshed R7 kind of design. Which one would you pick? Would you pick the V4 for the extra bit of styling that it has on offer, or extra bit of a little bit of more modernization and more new age influence that it has on offer? Or would you pick the V3, which has been kind of a legendary motorcycle that again surprised us as to how Yamaha can simply make subtle changes and make a significant impact in the market? So that's pretty much it. This is Dino Bhai signing off for now. Yes, you can go ahead and watch my moto vlog now. That will be coming right up following in the same video. So guys, now that I've given you a quick overview of the R15S, the kind of family bike conversion of the Super Sport, and let's see whether still it packs the punch, because the power and torque, everything else remains more or less the same. 18.6 PS, 14.1 Newton meters. Off we go. Okay, so 131 is what we managed on this R15S, and everything else remains more or less the same. And I'm sure it can pull further because this is a brand new bike. And what I like about this is the seat is very comfortable. Again, let me double underscore that. You might be wondering, does the seat really make a difference? Well, it does. And the unibody seat is very comfortable, and it's more comfortable for the rider, because you might be thinking maybe they've done the unibody seat only for the pillion, but honestly the padding is more significant and you can immediately feel the difference. In fact, it's more comfortable than the seat on my R15M. So if comfort is something that you're looking for, then this seat really makes a difference. Now, what I really miss with this R15S update is the raising of the clip-ons. Now, I know if they raise it further, now this might touch this. So either way, they could have done something, maybe widen the handlebar and raised it something on a cord or in line with the R3 clip-ons positioning. So what that would have done is thrown open the window for those who seek comfort but still love fully fed motorcycles or super sport motorcycles to opt for this, because everything else, this is more or less the R15 V3 with a unibody seat, because the suspension 41mm forks, 282mm front disc and dual channel ABS, they've not compromised anywhere, and still it is around 1,56,000 something ex-showroom Delhi, and around 25,000 rupees cheaper than the V4. So if comfort is something that you always longed for while choosing the R15, then this one really does make a difference. The weight, the wheelbase, almost everything remains the same, and that's why the performance remains unchanged. In fact, this is more powerful, 18.6 PS when compared to 18.4 PS of my R15M. So in that way, this one is supposed to do better in terms of top speed, and it's supposed to offer more power at the end of the day. But somehow I feel the aerodynamics are better sorted on my R15M with the new design silhouette, so I could push it further and achieve greater top speed. But still, again, it varies from rider to rider and riding style and how you shift gears. So this is just just an effort from my side to check the high speed stability as to how planted it is, and it is as planted as it has always been. Very sure-footed even while doing 130 plus speeds, and the chassis is awesome. The same 140 section radial rear tire, so everything, slipper clutch is there, and engine cutoff feature is there for the side stand. So almost all the features are unchanged. So this is more or less the same V3 with a more comfortable unibody seat. And would I recommend this? Yes, like as I told you, if comfort is your top priority, then yes, definitely you can look at this as an option, and it won't disappoint you, and it feels far more comfortable than the V3 as well as the V4. And this R15S is a good inclusion for those who wanted that extra bit of comfort, and instead of going to a vendor to change the seat or add extra padding to the seat, now you get factory fitted more cushiony seat and a more comfortable seat, and also for ladies it's offering a little more room. So that's pretty much it. Overall refinement, performance, suspension, high speed stability, braking, everything is bang on, and everything is on par with what we come expecting from an R15. And the comfort is again scaled up a little further. So how do you like this review? What do you think about this R15S? Feel free to comment below, let me know. And would you consider buying this for the added comfort it has on offer? And yes, it undercuts the V4 by a significant margin, so it's a good ploy, clever ploy you can say. But we are looking for more interesting launches from Yamaha. Let's hope they don't disappoint us. Let's hope they bring the 10-year 700, which is an icon in the dual sport or adventure touring category, and also the likes of R7 and the upcoming R9, which is still in the spy shots rounds. So let's hope all that happens in the next year as we step into a brand new year. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, take care, God bless, and ride safe.